Hello everybody, it's Trisha at Huntress Habits. So glad I'm able to do a video tonight. And I want to apologize to all my subscribers that I haven't been doing them as regular as what I was. We're hoping to get back into that habit. Before I start clearing my area, I want to show you a little bit of what we're going to be working with tonight. We're going to be doing some embossing on a card. I'm using Versamark, Ranger's Clear, and then this is part of a collection, and I could not tell you the name of it whatsoever. I got it on Amazon. Then I'm using my embossing buddy that I made, and we are memory keepers, and I'm going to set that aside because that's probably the last thing we're going to do. Okay. I'm also going to tell you about super tape. I got this from THERM, and the link is below under links. And the reason I'm using it, the red tape, if you've never used it before, it's super strong. And as you can see, I put the same paper on top, and see how this is curling? You can see it curving due to the watercolor that I put on it. I want it to stay flat on this card that is out of cardstock. So that's why we're going to be using the super tape, so you'll know when I get to that part. We'll set it aside because we're not quite ready for it. And I want to show you what we're going to be doing. We're using Nouveau embellishment mousse. Comes in all different kinds of colors. And if you've never used it before, it's got kind of a metallic dimension to it. And we're going to be doing the inside of a card. I didn't do a lot, but stamping and a little bit of watercolor on the outside so that I could add some to the inside. And I'm tilting that so that you can see that metallic look. I used a stencil and then a stamp, and both of those were from the Recollection collection that I'm fixing to talk about. I wanted to show, I did a little bit on the envelope also. Didn't do any on the back, but you could, just to give it that a little bit more of a look. So this is what I'm going to be showing you tonight. Let me set that aside. This is the one we're going to be working on. The images, I do need to mention, both of these are from Visual Images. It's a company out of the UK that has some awesome images. So take a look, be sure and look at visualimages.com and see all the neat stuff that they have. Very nicely done. And make sure if you're buying any of theirs that it is the visual image, because there is a company that is trying to make stamps that are very similar to theirs. And theirs is a much higher quality stamp. It's it's bigger. And you can see the detail in theirs. If you want to look at this one, you can see all that detail, which you're not seeing in the people that are trying to duplicate theirs. But you know, you can also take it as a compliment when somebody duplicates your work, or trying to, is that it's because they like yours and they know that it's good. Okay, I'm going to put this aside, so let's talk about Recollections just for a moment. Now, I look for bargains, and of course I used a discount. A couple of weeks ago, my daughter sent me on a retreat, and of course I had to do some shopping because we only have a Hobby Lobby here. So I went to Michael's and to Joann's, and I found this at Joann's, and it's a 15-piece set. And I'm thrilled about it. Not only did it have keys, but it's got sentiments that I can put on the inside also, not just the outside. But it also had some templates. Now, it had this one and this one, which is what I used on that other card that I showed you. This is the one we're going to be using tonight. And then this one for borders. Look at that. I could just cut them apart and I would have several different kinds of borders there. So, and they all came in one package for one happy, nice little price. And of course I use my coupon, so it shows all the different patterns up here. And then you've got all these nice stamps. We're going to be using, I think it was Embrace the Journey. I'm going to put on the inside of this one. So let me go ahead and get that out of the package. So we'll be ready when we start stamping. And then I think I said I was going to use this one. And we'll put this aside. And I say aside because I'm just not sure where to put anything these days. One other thing I need to do is take my pad off of my Tim Holtz glass pad, because we're going to be putting my color right here. Now, this is not something I really like to do with the mousse, but the reason being is that they recommend that you don't just stick your finger in there. Well, I'm sorry. I like to get my hands into the products, whether it's painting with acrylics, watercolor, whatever. I like to know that I'm touching it. But they recommend that you don't do it with these, and so I'm trying to break that habit that I've been doing. So we're going to take some, oh, that one hasn't even been opened. And that is unusual for it to be this color and never opened. So, must have finished up the other jar. Okay, you want to try to get, when you open these up, some people would go ahead and leave the foil on there and try to seal it with that. But your lid has a soft cover here, so that it will help seal it. And also, if you do need to moisten it some, this is a good consistency. You want it good and smooth. It's not something that you have to mix up. But if it was hard, then all you would have to do is add a little bit of water to it. And they recommend that you use distilled water. This will prevent fungus from growing inside here. And that's why they recommend that you don't use your fingers. But guys, I can tell you, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use them. I can scrape the fungus out, or I can put a little tea tree oil in there and just kill it all. Okay, we'll go ahead and... But another reason I don't like putting my creams, mousses, or anything out here on the mat like this, not knowing how much I'm going to use, but it will dry up tremendously very quickly. Now, I don't want to contaminate each color. That's one thing that I do worry about. Not going to be using a lot of this one, so we'll just put it here. And we're just going to highlight with that color. And this is, I'm working on cardstock, but you could do this on any medium, whether you're working on a canvas or wood, anything. And it cleans up very easily. I'll spray a little bit of water on it, just any type of water, in order to clean it up, and you'll see how easy it is. I'm going to keep this handy for me in case I do need to clean something up. I'm using makeup sponges to spread it. And like I said, I'd rather be using my fingers, but trying to learn the proper way. Okay, now, because this template is so large, whoop, got a little bit on it right there. Because this template is so large, a lot of the color is going to go through here. And as I spread the other, I did it fairly thick in some areas and thin in other areas. I've still got a color on my finger. And you can actually feel that texture. So depending on if you want it thick, whether you're doing this as a background or just as an added embellishment to the inside like I'm doing. And I'm going to do it, of course, on a slant. I don't want it to be... And I will pick this up and move it. Let's see. I'm getting cards mixed up here, so I don't want to do that either. Okay. And I'm going to start with my darker colors here on the outside. Just dipping it in to my mousse. And if you're worried about it moving, go ahead and tape it down with some purple tape or blue tape or painter's, any type of tape that it has a low tack so that it won't tear your paper. I'm not being very precise, and I'm actually wanting it to show a lot of texture. That's the whole point of doing this. So, see, I've got it all over my fingers, which is okay, because it's not going back in the jar. And something I will also show you, if you're not embossing your ink on this mousse, the colors will change your stamp ink. When I stamped it originally on that other card, the lighter color made my ink a lighter color. It made it resist it more. So I had to go back and emboss, which is totally fine. Okay, let's switch colors. We do want to get a clean one now. And I'm going to use oh, do you see it move? It's okay, I can match it right back up. I'm going a little bit thicker now with this one. And this actually was the mousse that made the ink change its colors, or resist it, I should say. It didn't stamp well on this one. You just really need to play around with it, and always do a sample before you spend all that work. And blend it in just a little bit here where the two colors meet. Now I'm going to go ahead and move my template. I am going to try to match it up a little bit. Let's move it over some more. I'm going to put a little bit more of that color right up here. And the heavier you go with the mousse, of course, the darker the color. But it's also where it meets this template edge is where it's going to provide that texture for you. So wherever you're putting your stamp, you need to think about that if you want it to be a smooth area there. Like right in here is where I would want to put mine. So I want to make sure this area doesn't have a lot of texture so it lays down and prints good. Okay, whoop. Get a little bit of that off over here. We're going to go with this darker color. I believe this is what they call bronze, but don't quote me on that. I would have to get my magnifying glass out and look at the colors. Sorry. It's tough getting old, guys. But you know what? If I had known all that I know now when I was younger, oh, what that would have been a blessing. Okay, gonna move it over just a little bit, and I know I have all this here, but this already is dry, so it's not gonna get on the outside. And that's one thing working with the Nouveau embellishment. You know, I said it was going to dry quick. Oops, I got that mark right there. Let's get rid of that. And it does dry quick. Quick. So now we're going to go with this highlighted color. I'm going with a fairly dark embellishment color, embossing color. So it's going to go over all of the colors that I've gotten here. I'm going to pick it up a little bit better. There we go. Like I said, this one is just kind of a highlighting. So that's why I didn't get a lot of that out. Don't like what it's doing right there though, so let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, a little bit better. This color that's on my thumb is getting here. So I'm going to go through here and just do a little bit of repair. Now I'm someone, and that's really, I guess, why I have a little bit of trouble. Do y'all see all that shimmer and glass, shine in there? Okay, I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to wash this in the sink in just a little bit. And it would have been good if I had brought a water in here. But I can tell you right now, this mousse dries so quickly that it's already dry on that template. If I go let it soak in water for a few moments, then that will take care of it. Now, I'm going to get most of the excess, the large amount of this. Didn't waste much. And then I'm going to spray this. Now, I know everybody has their preference on their surfaces, their work surfaces, but I like glass. I like being able to clean it as easily as it does. And I use baby wipes. I could use a paper towel. Did y'all hear that squeak? Okay. Then we'll get this off. Just wanting to show you how easy it is to clean up. You know, I could pause the video, but then you don't get to see that part off of the glass. And it's still wet. So I take a microfiber cloth, and there we go. And by the time that I've done all this, this is going to be dry. My fingers aren't clean, which they need to be. So, and that's a reason I don't paint my nails, people. You can't see if your fingernails are clean if they're painted. You don't know if you've gotten all that color out. So, for all of those that, you know, like to paint their nails, more power to you. But a lot of colored pigments can irritate your skin. So, if you're having problems with your skin, especially around your nails, don't blame it on your fingernail polish. Blame it on some of the pigments, especially if you're using anything that's got a yellow in it. Okay, let my hand dry a moment with the microfiber. Oh, you know what we forgot? We forgot to do the envelope. And because I don't want to clean up again right now, I'm going to leave it blank, but you've gotten the drift by watching me do that. Oh, I knew there was something I was forgetting. Always is. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get out my gelatos. And I'm going to find a color or two that matches these. Nuvo, don't get mad at me now. Okay, there's one that's similar. Doesn't quite have the metallic. Oh, this one is almost exactly. And we're going to take that template and we're going to lay it down. Okay, these are Faber-Castell gelatos. They take a little bit longer to dry than the mousse. And there I go with my fingers. If I had been using the makeup sponges, that'd be going on here thinner than applying it directly. Okay, we got that. Think I've ever used that one much. Okay, hold it down. Apply. You would have thought I planned this to show you that they do the same. But I have to say, you need to give them just a few more minutes to dry than what the mousse. The mousse dries a little bit quicker. Okay, there we go. Cool. Got just about the same effect. Pretty close to it. Okay, so only you and me are going to know this, that I didn't use the Nouveau. Gelatos are wonderful, and they react with water just like the Nouveau embellishment mousse does. But for smaller areas, these are great. Absolutely wonderful. And just happened to have been sitting out on my desk. Imagine that. Maybe because I use them in small areas more. And I use them a lot with watercoloring, just as you would these. They're going to react with water. Okay. Dry the hands again. And let's get ready to stamp. Now, we're going to stamp on this side. So, I want to make sure that it's going the right direction, because I tend to not always do that correctly. Let's grab all my stuff. I did have a piece of paper to catch my powder. Let's get it stamped first, though. Take my embossing buddy that I made, rub it over here. It smells so good. It's made out of baby powder. Okay, get it down into my, that's just in case I need to stamp it again, which I don't think I will with the Versamark. But you never know. So, and I'm stamping with clear, so I might not even know it. But if I get everything lined up and then I end up having to go back, and yeah, I see that purple there. Okay, we want to put it about in the middle. Get it straight. Have I got it going? Yeah, embrace. You know, I could measure it because it does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got the ruler, but I want to move it up to the top just a little bit. Have plenty of room for a signature and a note if that's what I want to do. I'm eyeballing it to see if it's in the center here, and it looks like it is. So place mine down. I don't have to worry about a hinge, and it sticks to it. First, mark it up. And then we're going to stamp. Put it right back in those holes. And I'm going to give it a little pressure. I heard someone say about the ones that have hinges that the lids crack when they give it that pressure. You don't have to worry about that with this one because it is laying directly flat. The only thing you've got is these little sponge rubber platform Okay, looks like it's stamped well. Not real sure about right in there. So let's do it one more time. That could have a lot to do with the resist of the mousse. But we're just going to make sure. And by stamping it again, we are going to be positive. Okay. Now, okay, let me take my rag and wipe that off. Looks like I've emptied that pack of baby wipes. I do use the non-alcoholic. Non-alcohol. Oh boy, maybe I'm needing some alcohol. The non-alcohol baby wipes. It doesn't dry out your hands quite as bad, and I'll place that back in the stamper and back in its package in a moment. Now let's get this out of the way. And I'm going to look for my sheet of paper that I have. And I don't know why I got this clear out. I guess I was going to do something else with it. I don't remember. Don't have a clue. I'm going to put it on here fairly heavy. I want a full coverage. I know a lot of people do their embossing powders in different ways. I'm going to shake this up. It's got a lump in there. Oh, it did stamp perfectly. Perfectly. Okay, let's put this extra powder back in its tube, and then we will heat it up. These little tubes are so small. I feel like every time I use it that I'm going to pour it out everywhere else. And that's what I guess I was going to say in a moment, was about how a lot of people put them into containers and then spoon it over. Now, this is where I'm going to wipe this up. And again, use my microfiber on the glass, because I don't want to emboss my glass. And let's find our heat tool. This is the embossing heat tool made by Manvy. I've had it a long time, so I really couldn't tell you if they even make this kind. You want to get it hot before you blow that air on the embossing. And you'll be able to tell the difference as soon as it starts appearing to be shiny. It goes from that matte finish to a shiny finish. Just checking it. One more little spot here. We don't want to overdo. Okay, I can feel that through that paper. Oh. And that heat is warping my card just a little bit. But I have a solution for that also. Okay. Let's let that dry just a second, and we will get our super tape out and start taping it on the back. Where did my envelope go? Let's see, right there. Is it dry yet? Nope, see, it's still a little wet. So there's your advantages over the Nuvo's going to dry a lot quicker than your gelatos. Just an FYI. So I can't handle that envelope anymore until it dries, so I'll probably wait until morning actually. Now, when you're using the super tape, it's not going to tear. You're going to have to cut it, so have some scissors handy. And I try to put mine as close to the edge as possible. These lights at night draw bugs. That's what I just smushed on my hand. And I know it's probably difficult for y'all to see this red tape on that paper. I go all around the edge. And since it does have a plastic coating that you peel off, you really don't want to overlap unless you take them off in a sequence opposite of what you laid them down. Then I'm going to put one right across here. Not going to do an X because this tape is just wonderful. I'm just doing that just to make sure the center gets down. Okay. Now I'm going to use my CRICUT weeding tool to lift. Well, we're not going to lift it on that end. There we go. That comes off nicely. But I don't even try to lift it off without a tool. Sometimes I even get both the tape and the plastic, and both of them lift off. Okay, got those. Stick them in the trash. They've got static electricity. Our embossing is dry. Now, oh, almost goofed again. Now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a block on that. Actually, what I could do is heat that paper up again. And I'll put a emblem on here saying especially made for you type thing. But the ones that I have right now, I only have one left and I need two, so I might as well make some more. Okay, I'll put some weight on there, let that set for a while. And it will be ready by the time this is dry, which I'm not even going to check again because I know it's not. But it will be in the morning. So, there you go with another card I made especially for you by Huntress Habits. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Can't remember right this minute what I was going to do next because I've got about 4 different projects going on, but I knew I had promised that I was going to show you how I would do that, so I wanted to get that done. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye-bye.